3 years ago today, I got my first taste of what real internet money was like, and it completely changed my life forever. Here's the story of how it happened. And why am I sitting in my bed, you may ask? Because this is exactly where I was sitting, just like this, the moment everything changed. It was my senior year of high school. I was 17 years old. I was on the track and cross country teams, and I was terrible at time management, so I didn't have time to work a job. However, I still wanted to make more money. The only way I was making money at the time was through TikTok, through the Creator Fund, and through live streams. I would literally make $30 per million views from the Creator Fund, so I didn't make that much. And then doing live streams, I would just live stream every night while doing homework, and then most of the nights I would make maybe $20. Some people would send me over 100 sometimes, but that didn't happen that often. Now, the only advantage that I had was the fact that I had 6 elective classes in high school. I only had one legit class, and even that was a very easy class, so I had lots of time to be on my phone and just figure something out. The first thing I tried was reselling shoes, like off of the Nike sneakers app. They would always drop shoes at 9 a.m. I would buy a shoe or a pair of shoes, and then I would flip them on GOAT or StockX for a profit. Because anybody that wasn't able to get the shoes when they first dropped, but they want the shoes right now, well, they can buy them for a little bit more off of me and anyone else who does the same thing. So the main shoes that I would do this with were Nike Dunks and Jordans. The reason I tried this is because 2 of my friends had a lot of success with it. And like I said, these shoes dropped at 9 a.m. And of course, the one class that I had that was at 9 a.m. was my financial algebra class, which was my one actual class and not an elective. Now, thankfully, my financial algebra teacher, Mr. Lee, if you're watching this, you're the GOAT, he was very into business-related stuff, which was awesome. And I would literally just ask him, hey, there's some shoes dropping. Can I quickly go on my phone and get them so that I can resell them? And he would say yes. And then after, I would let him know if I got the shoes or not. So that was awesome. And then there was one kid who sat right next to me who also did the same exact thing. And we'd also be like competing with each other to see who got the shoes and who didn't. Now, for the first couple pairs of shoes, I actually had to borrow money from my dad. He would give me or send me a couple $100. I would buy the shoes using that money. Then after I sold the shoes for a profit, I would send him his money back and keep the profit. So I literally had no money to my name when I started doing this. At the same time, I had discovered user-generated content, which is where you make content for brands. Since I had a lot of followers on TikTok, there were UGC platforms and agencies that reached out to me and wanted me to be a part of them. So I did my first brand deal, and I got paid $56 for that video, which is awesome considering I was making only $30 per million views from the Creator Fund. Meanwhile, I got paid $56 for a video that didn't matter how many views it got, and I didn't even have to post it to my own social media account. Now, while I was going viral on TikTok, there were 3 other platforms that came out at the same time that were competing with TikTok: YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and Snapchat Spotlight. And my friend told me about one of his friends that made over $10,000 from one video on Spotlight. And then he even made over $100,000 from one video on Spotlight. And at this point, I was sold. I was like, bro, I have to try this. And before I started trying it, I remember telling people, like my brother, for example, I remember this so vividly. I was in the car with him and I was like, someone that I know, their friend just made over $100,000 from a video on Snapchat. And I have to try this. Like, imagine if I did that. And I remember my brother saying, he's probably lying. Like, people can lie about anything, fake screenshots, whatever. Even if they're telling the truth, it's probably way harder than you think. And I was like, I mean, maybe, but if I don't try it, like, it seems kind of dumb not to try. But I also saw that way of thinking as an opportunity for me, because people were making such crazy amounts of money from posting these videos to Snapchat that a lot of people straight up didn't believe it. And usually, if something is too good to be true, it is. But I didn't believe that for this. So I believed that if most people think it's too good to be true, I gotta find out if it actually is or isn't. And I also realized, after doing some research, Snapchat was paying $1 million per day spread out to its creators, which means the less creators there are, the more money each creator gets. And this was a brand new program, so I was early to it, meaning there was literally more money for me. Since I had already been posting to TikTok for like a year and I had gone viral plenty of times, I just started posting my TikTok videos to Snapchat. And a couple of them went semi-viral, but I still got no notifications from Snapchat about earning anything. And then I really started to learn about how this program actually works. So first of all, you can only post once every 5 minutes to Snapchat. Second, you can't repost the same video. If you repost a video in its exact form as you already posted it, Snapchat takes it down. But I only had so much content to post, and if I wanted to post like every 5 to 10 minutes, I would need to figure out a way to mass produce content. I would edit the videos to just slightly alter them, and literally in the slightest ways. One thing I would do is just flip the videos, or I would just slightly up the brightness or the contrast or the hue or the saturation. And sometimes I would just re-export the video in a different quality. So instead of 1080p, I would export it in 720p. And this actually worked. Through doing this, I was able to make the same video dozens of times, and I could post it a bunch of times, and it wouldn't get flagged or taken down. And I saw this as such a huge opportunity because if these videos got a lot of views on TikTok, why wouldn't they be able to get a lot of views on Snapchat? At the end of the day, the social media algorithms all work in a very similar way. And I also noticed that even if I ran out of posting every version of a video, after about 30 videos being posted, Snapchat wouldn't catch on if you were to repost the same exact copy of a video. So at this point, I literally had infinite content, and it was very easy to post every 5 to 10 minutes. So all it took was just a few hours of making several variations of each video that I thought could go viral, and then from there, all it took was me just going on the app and posting when I was supposed to. So, like I said, I had 6 elective classes in high school, and every 5 to 10 minutes in each of those classes, I would post a video to Snapchat. Literally every single day for 2 months straight. And I had so much hope because seeing these stories of people making so much from it, I started seeing them more and more, and I was like, this is gonna be me. It has to be. Like, still not that many people are in on it. I have such a high chance right now. When I first started posting, my videos would get from anywhere from like 5 to 50 views, but the more I kept posting, the more my views would go up, because it would kind of be like this. One of my videos gets more views than normal, and Snapchat would re-suggest my other videos to the viewers of the viral videos. And then I finally had one that just really went nuclear, and it got several 100,000 views in the first day. And then I got the notification from Snapchat. It said, your Spotlight submission is popular and you may have earned money if you qualify. Please update your email and birthday and settings now so we can contact you. We will be in touch soon. Please do not reply to this message. So at this point, I was very, very excited that I had finally made money from posting these videos. But if you remembered, I said that I was 17 years old. So then Snapchat sent me another message. Your Spotlight submission may have made you eligible for cash, but it looks like your parent or guardian didn't complete the parental consent form properly or in time. So since I was under the age of 18, I was supposed to sign some sort of form or have my parents sign it. I didn't even know about it, and it looked like I missed my opportunity. I had my parents sign the form anyways, and I emailed Snapchat about it. Never heard anything back from them. At this point, I had lost all motivation and gave up. I felt like I just wasted so much time with those videos. It was cool and all that I went viral, but at the end of the day, I didn't really care because I didn't get paid from it. That was kind of the whole goal with it. So yeah, I literally gave up right there and stopped posting to Snapchat Spotlight. A couple months later, I thought about this incident again, and I was still wishing I at least knew how much I would have gotten paid. So I decided to reach out to Snapchat again through email, just through their support email. I said, hi, a couple months ago I had a video on Spotlight go viral, and I got a message from Team Snapchat saying that it was eligible for payment. there was an error with it, and I received an email saying that I had to redo a form and submit it, then reply once I was done. I submitted the form and nobody ever got back to me. Is there any sort of way that I can still get paid from my video? So I sent that email in July and never got a response back from them. 1 month later, I went to college. And in college, I decided to completely stop making TikTok videos because I was scared of being judged. How silly. But I did continue to do UGC videos for brands because those were not posted to my personal social media accounts. And at the same time, I did DoorDash. I loved the idea that I could clock in and clock out whenever I wanted. And I really liked driving around the area that I lived in. I went to college in Boca Raton, Florida, a very nice, wealthy area. And man, I loved driving around and seeing all the crazy, nice cars and mansions. And I have so many videos in my phone from all the different cars I spotted while door dashing. Ferraris, McLarens, Lamborghinis on every street, and occasionally you'd see even crazier things than that. Like I literally saw a Bugatti, which is unheard of where I live right here. In between deliveries, if I was ever near a car dealership, I would stop by those as well. There were lots of exotic car dealerships over there, and I just always dreamt of owning cars like that one day. When I first started door dashing, I made about $17 an hour, which was not bad at all for a college kid. But then I eventually realized that if I just wait by the nicer restaurants and only pick up from there, then I deliver to the more wealthy people and I get higher tips. Sometimes. Some of them would have the craziest houses and I'd get like a $1 tip, but not always. Most of the time they actually did tip higher. But not only did I get better tips from this, it was a better delivery experience, and a lot of times I would get to talk to either the people who lived in these crazy mansions or people who worked there. Because a lot of times it wouldn't be the actual person who owns the house that walks out. It would be like an assistant that grabs the food for them. But once I had that strategy of picking up from the nicer restaurants, I was averaging about $23 a day. And to really maximize my earnings, I was also doing those UGC videos while I was in the car. So I'd go deliver something, and then while waiting for the next order, I would do a UGC video for a brand. And some days I would make as much as $240 in a day just from the UGC videos in between DoorDash orders. It was nuts. Now, as great as it was to be making decent money as a college kid on my own hours while still having time for school, friends, and exercise, I had one pretty big problem, and that was the fact that I had terrible spending habits. I would literally spend money like I was rich, like I was the average Boca Raton millionaire. I would literally figure out what I'm going to spend my money on that day. I would figure out how many videos I have to do or how much door dashing I have to do for that. And then I just blow my money. And I think part of it was to impress people, unfortunately, because like I said, I was scared of posting TikToks because I didn't want to get judged by people. And I also blew my money because I wanted to impress people. It's stupid. But that was a problem back then. And a lot of people deal with that problem. Now, one night in January, I was doing my homework. And what is January? It's the start of a new year. And what do you get when the year starts? Tax forms. While I'm doing my homework, I get an email notification. And it was from Snapchat. And it said, tax forms. I literally swiped it away and thought, that's weird. They never actually paid me. Why would they send me tax forms? And I literally never paid attention to that email again. I deleted it. Now, to be fair, I had never paid taxes in my life at that point because I was 18 years old. But still, the fact that I got a tax form notification, didn't think anything of it, and just swiped it away is crazy. But it's good that I did. Then, after that moment, I forgot about it, and I just continued the rest of the school year door dashing, doing UGC, and blowing my money. After my first year of college, I kept doing DoorDash back at home, but it wasn't as fun. Not as many cool cars, not as many cool mansions. I was delivering in a lot of unsafe areas, and I was making way less on average. I was making about $14 an hour, so almost $10 less than what I was making in Boca. That's crazy. And my friends really wanted me to go with them to Monterey Car Week. Like I said, we're huge car fans, and that's really like one of the best car events to go to in the entire world. But the problem was that's like $2,000 to go to, and I did not have that because all I did was blow my money in college. But I was determined, kept door dashing, kept making UGC videos, and then comes around June 18th, 2022. I was at my friend Dylan's house, and we were just up late having a deep talk. He asked me if I believe in God, and that was really the first time I ever kind of talked about that to someone. I said yes, but at the time I didn't really mean it. I kind of just said it once again, like the type of person I was back then, is just like blend in with everybody. But we talked about that for a little bit, and then also brought up Snapchat because he's also a content creator, and he also knows my friend whose friend made a bunch of money from it, and how I attempted to do that. By the way, the person who did make a lot of money from it, that I found out about, we're very good friends now. But anyways, I talked to him about that, how I tried it, and I got tax forms back in January, but they never paid me, so I didn't understand why I got tax forms. And once again, just like in January when I was sitting in my dorm and I got that email from Snapchat, after talking to Dylan about the fact that happened, I just forgot about it again and I drove home. I went the entire next day just doing random stuff, not even thinking about that. And then that night, I was just really determined to find some sort of way to make more money and become financially free. I was just playing Graham Stephan videos, trying to learn from him about all sorts of different things like real estate, investing, that I did not have the money to invest into. But while watching his videos, I got the random urge to go through my 14,000 unread emails. It sounds really weird. Like anytime I tell this story to somebody, they're like, why did you get the random urge to do that? Like pretty much any 19-year-old just doesn't get the urge to, go through my emails. Like what? But yeah, I don't know what prompted me to do that. It was just so random and I wasn't even really thinking much about it. But personally, I think it was God. Anyways, Graham Stephan played in the background and I was just mass selecting emails and deleting them so rapidly. Like you literally just hit select and then the thing pops up and you hold down and they just fly by. So I was looking at the title of each email for a fraction of a second, and if the title of that email didn't interest me, I'd just delete. And I would delete literally 500 at a time within just like a minute or so. And while I'm scrolling through these really quickly, I see one that says Hyperwallet. So then I stop and I unselected that one. I had it selected, which means I could have accidentally deleted it. But I unselected it, deleted the rest, and then clicked on that one. The email was titled, "You received a payment from Snap Inc." So I clicked on it and it says, "Hello Ryan, Snap Inc. has sent you a payment. Here are the details. Amount, $65,678.74. I frantically signed into Hyperwallet to see if that was legit, and it was there. All of it was there. It was true. And then, just to double check, I transferred that money to my PayPal, and it was there in seconds. First thing I did after that was I called Dylan, because we literally talked about it the night before. I was texting him in all caps, just freaking out, and then he called me, and yeah. After that, I went to my parents' room, and I told my mom. Then I told my dad, and of course he was trying to make sure I didn't get scammed or something, and I was like, it's in my PayPal, we're good. And then I told a couple more of my friends, and after that I didn't want to tell anybody else for quite a long time. It was so much money that PayPal had to limit how much I sent to my bank account at a time, which was crazy. I'd never seen anything like that. I had to send 25,000, and then after that I was able to send the remaining 40,700. And guess what? The next morning, I woke up bright and early at 7 a.m. and I went door dashing as if I had never made that 65 grand. because I had a goal to make only $15,000 for the entire year. Or maybe it was 20,000, I forget. But either way, I completely smashed that goal, tripled it. But just because I hit that goal doesn't mean I don't have to work for the rest of the year. Like, it was June, only halfway through the year. It would be really dumb to just completely stop doing what I was doing before just because I got lucky, you know? Then after door dashing for the day, I went to a baseball game with my family for Father's Day. And obviously I had never felt so rich in my life, so I did bet a little bit on the game. It was literally just $20, but in return I could have gotten like over 10 grand or something. Yeah, it was $20. And you know, it's time to celebrate. Like, crazy event that just happened. So, $20, no big deal. But after that, I made sure I would be way more careful with how I spend my money, because that much money can change your life if you use it correctly. And yes, I did go to Monterey Car Week with my friends, and it was so awesome. And yeah, I've been 2 times after that as well. That's how good it is. But it is so crazy that I received that email from Hyperwallet in August of 2021, and I didn't open it until June of 2022. Almost 10 months went by without me knowing that was there. But considering my terrible spending habits in college, if I did realize I had that money in college, I probably would have blown through it, to be honest. So there was literally no better time for me to find out that I had it. And that is the story. Ever since that moment, everything has been completely different. No, I do not do DoorDash anymore. But if you enjoyed this story, just know that if it's too good to be true, usually it is, but not always. And if you're early to an opportunity, take it. Don't wait until it's already so popular and you missed your chance. Be early to it. Alright? So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment whatever you want to comment. And that's all I have for you guys. So, have a great rest of your day.